We all have an understanding from the scientific explanation on what mental illness is, but within this short experimental art piece, what I want to convey is more of a personal portrayal of how people with an experience in mental health have felt through their own journeys, and convey this through abstract imagery which complements these narratives. This video is in collaboration with the campaign Calm. Calm Art Collective is a gallery space where artists can collaborate, inspire and chat to one another, creating a space where people can push forward conversations on mental health using self-expressive art and embracing creativity. At the end of this video, which would typically be displayed in Calm's gallery, I will also put their helpline number and URL to their website where people can sign up. Keeping the colour scheme black and white doesn't just create a more dramatic approach, it gives the mind freedom to imagine the image in whatever way the viewer decides. As I don't want it to be a set narrative, I want the piece to be abstract with little telling. I want people who are viewing the piece to feel their own connection to the images, and emotions they feel can be real. This work will be a reflection on mental health, and with this has huge audiences. As this is being shown in an art gallery which is open to people who suffer from mental health, my audience doesn't have a specific age group, as it will have a different meaning and understanding for each individual. To gather my information, I've conducted interviews with those people who I've shared experiences with. Helping them and knowing them through periods in their life where they have struggled is one of the reasons why I wanted to dedicate this work to them. These interviews will be useful to get a raw and emotional understanding on the matter, which will aid me in producing this experimental piece. Colour for me is a way of expressing emotion and feelings. It can complement the film hugely, as overlays and decisions where I've chosen my exterior shot to contrast the narrative massively. The exterior location will be located on a beach, possibly Crosby or Formby. This gives me all the right textures, sounds, colours and feel to what I am looking for when producing this piece. The seaside itself is a calming experience. Black associates with strength and power. This is essential for anyone suffering with mental illness. It also represents evil, quite literally self-explanatory. A huge influence into this project and what really gave me a good idea on what I wanted to do was the book Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig, which I also read during the first lockdown. This book is a memoir about people living with the experiences and going through life living with depression and anxiety. Whilst I was reading it, I couldn't help but think about all the people around me who have also suffered, and I was wondering to myself if they had felt anything like he had. So that's what intrigued me into doing the interviews. The format of this piece will be shown through a montage of experimental post-production clips which will be shot through and displayed in portrait rather than landscape, as I find this works better for artistic purposes and to really convey the portraits which I will be including. Whilst looking through Pinterest, there were a few images which stood out to me, like Aliyah Alay's work, My Imprints of Power and Scars of Destruction. A photography page I found on Pinterest named Jackie Ashton, resembling how she feels when she has a panic attack, struggling for breath. Bill Viola is very similar to the Jackie Ashton photography. His work is a contemporary way of conveying raw emotion in a vulnerable state. Another piece I found on Pinterest is The Painting by Maria Teixeira, a figurative artist. This piece is a contemporary concept of the realistic symbolisation on the emotional state. She uses polystyrene wrap, but it's a symbolisation of resembling self-suffocation. Jenny Coombs, in present tense. Jenny works with texture, projection onto the subject's face, which is another technique I want to use. I find the textures Jenny uses are similar to the ones I would like to also use, as the liquid-like motion will represent and connect to the exterior shots of the beach. This work is by an artist named Anna Paula. Using editing tools, I will achieve something like this within After Effects using double exposure techniques, which will include some symbolisation of butterflies, as they are in association with the soul. They are also seen as a symbol of resurrection in some religions and new beginnings. Other techniques like double exposures and overlapping of clips will be used to create a more distort and textured feel to the film, and I will achieve this through the use of green screen. In person, this video would be shown onto a life-size screen in a gallery, where standing in front of it, the piece becomes more realistic and conveys a more lifelike experience, forming an emotional and personal approach to the viewer. If I had the budget and space, I would encase the screen inside a wall of fine textured material and set up an airflow so that the material ripples, portraying sea-like movements. However, for the delivery of this to be assessed, it will be in the form of a short video. I will be recording the portraits for this piece in my flat. The montage of short clips should be no longer than 3 minutes long, shorter than 1 minute. There will be a range of Foley sounds which complement the imagery to make it more sensory. I will gather these sounds from YouTube or get them myself from the locations I will be visiting. In the first 30 seconds of the clip, there will be a spoken poem written by myself, influenced through the comments I have gathered through my interviews. I will be using different people for the portraits, as this will express the different stories on mental illness and the personal experiences throughout. My budget will only need to be spent on accessories like the green screen and materials for the portraits, so I'm keeping it to a maximum spend of £30. The timescale should be easy to keep track as I'm using my own space for the interior. There should be no restrictions, and completion for this project will be around the 26th of April.